Welcome back! We're finding our visual voice through photography and design. One of my favorite things to do in the world is to teach Photoshop. Not only is there no ceiling to the creativity in Photoshop, it just expands our communication, our visual voice, because we can tell stories and show the images in our minds in pixels. So today's lesson is all going to be in Photoshop, and I'm going to talk to you about the clipping mask. Wait, don't get freaked out. A lot of people don't know about masks, or they're not confident with masks, or it's been so long they can't even remember how to do it. But guess what? There's actually no mask involved in a clipping mask. That's why I call it the magic mask. It's so easy. All you need to do is manage the layers. So that's so easy to learn. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you how clipping mask works, and then we're going to show you how to populate a template that's made with clipping mask, made for a clipping mask. Then I'm going to show you how lots of different ways to use it and apply it to your work. And then I've even got some free templates you can download online. So let's get to it. So let's just open up Bridge. I have a few clipping mask samples here, and I'm gonna open up this simple card template. So in this template, we have the ability to put an image in it, and we have some text on the back. And if you look over here to the right, you can see there is a placeholder, and that is where you clip the picture. Notice, can you see this is checkerboard here? If I turn the other layers off, it's transparency around it. That is key, transparency around your placeholder. Then I'm going to turn my background layer back on, which is just plain white. And then we have text. So it says custom greeting cards by photographer you, yourwebsite.com. So you can personalize it. And you can download this template for free from the link in the description. All right, so let's now go look at some images. I'm gonna go back into Bridge and let's look at some images. Let's see, I think I'm gonna start off with this image. All right, this is one of my godsons from his senior portrait. I love this shot. So I'm gonna take this image and put it into the card. And so I'm going to take this layer over here to the right, click on the thumbnail, and I'm going to drag it over to the template. Notice when I went over the tab, the image pops up. Now, I haven't let go of the mouse yet. I'm still dragging, and I'm going to put it on top of the template, and I am going to hold Shift before I let go so it comes in centered. Notice it's nice and centered in the middle of the template. And you can see in my layers, it came up right on top. So I can move it around however I want. Now, if I didn't use clipping mask, I would be transforming it, Command T, and then I would transform it and try to fit it into this box. All right, so, let's see. And it wouldn't fit, right? So we'd probably go like this and distort it. Yeah, that is not the answer, and clipping mask solves that issue. So I'm gonna hit escape. We're not gonna do that. I'm gonna move this up just a little bit so you can kind of see the placeholder below it, right? So you can see in the stack of layers that it's right above the placeholder. When I want to clip it to the placeholder, I go up here to Layer, Create Clipping Mask, and here's the shortcut. So look what just happened. It clipped it to the layer below. Well, how does that work? Well, it only allows that image, that layer, to show where the pixels are on the placeholder. So what's really cool is now I can move this around. Actually, that looks pretty good zoomed in, huh? I didn't have to transform it at all. I could use it just like that. Or I can move it around. I can recompose, I can make them centered, off center, and I don't have to distort or crop or do anything. And I'm going to hit enter to accept, and there we have it. There is my card. Pretty awesome, right? Now you might think, oh, that's so simple. I could just crop that image and drag it in. Well, let's do something a little more creative. This template. So this is the one that you can download from my link below. This actually has 2 placeholders in it, and you get to choose which one you want to use. Now, we already did the one with a smooth line, but there's also a watercolor layer. So over here in the layer panel, I'm going to turn off the visibility of the smooth line one so we can see the watercolor. So now we'll have a beautiful watercolor edge. Very cool. So let's go open up an image. I'm going to go back to Bridge, and I'm going to go back to my images, and let's go for this one. I took this in Michigan, and I'm going to drag this layer. I'm going to drag it over to my template. On top of my template, I'm going to hold shift and then let go. That looks pretty good. It's centered. And I am going to go ahead and clip it before I move it. And I remember the shortcut, which is Command Option G. Where did it go? Well, I did that on purpose because this happens all the time, and you got to know how to solve it when this happens. Where did it go? Well, if you look right here in my layer panel, here's my watercolor layer, which what I was trying to do is clip it to that one. But here is the layer that I turned off because we don't want to use that one. It's invisible. So when I clipped it, you can see this little arrow, it's already clipped. When I clipped it to one that's not showing, guess what? It's not showing. So that happens all the time. So the key to making this work is you have to drag your layer in. I'm going to move it down in the layer stack. You have to drag it in and have it be directly above the placeholder. That is what makes it work. So now I moved it. You know, my other placeholder is still up there. It's still off. It's just not visible. This is my image layer right here. It's right above my watercolor layer. I'm going to click on my image layer, and then I'm going to do Command Option G, and now it worked, right? So now I can do Controller Command T, and I'm going to move it down. Okay, I need a little bit more to show because I want to see the whole bike. Now, this is important. Like, you just have to make sure that the picture is a little bit bigger than the placeholder. So see at the bottom where we got black peeking out? That doesn't look right. So we need to make sure that the image actually goes bigger than the placeholder, and it's really tricky with the watercolor because you need it to go all the way to the edges of the watercolor. So there we go. Now I've got my image in there. I'm going to hit enter. Doesn't that look cool? So it actually is pretty powerful to use. Now there's lots of other bonus things that you can do, but that's the basics right there. Let's go try some other stuff. Okay, so I want to do a card. Let's say I want to make a Christmas card, and I want to use this image, which is some of my favorite clients, the gardeners. They're such superheroes. And I'm going to go back to Bridge and get my other template. Let's see. Let's do the vertical. All right, so I am not going to use the watercolor on this one. That's just not the right vibe. I'm actually going to take that layer and drag it down to the trash can, and I'm done with it. I'm just going to use the smooth line one, and it's got a nice even edge all the way around. So I'm going to go to my superhero image, and I'm going to drag it over to that template, hold shift, and drop it dead center. That looks pretty good. Move it over, and then Control or Command Option G. Wow. Yeah, that's not going to work, is it? Because I do not want to crop off the girls. So if I make it small enough to include everybody, there is no way to get this to fit, right? Well, here is what's so awesome about Clipping Mask. You can actually change the placeholder. What is it? It's just a gray box, right? It doesn't matter if we stretch it or do whatever we want. Now, we don't want to stretch images and distort, but we can stretch or distort a placeholder, no problem. So let's just click on the layer of the placeholder and Control or Command T to transform, and I'm just going to transform it. Now look, it's keeping the same 4:6 kind of ratio. That's not going to work. So if I hold shift, it allows me to modify it. So I can actually make it a square or whatever works. And that looks pretty good. Now, notice I've got the green lines. The green lines in there are guides. So whenever I make a graphic design piece, I always have guidelines around the edges, which is the safe zone, because you don't want images uncomfortably close to the edge. It's either all the way off the edge and add extra for full bleed, or it's in a little bit. So these are 1/4 inch borders all the way around. Notice there's 3 lines down the middle. That's the fold line of a card. And when you open it up, it's got a border on each side. So I'm making my placeholder fit nice and snug to the 1/4 inch guides, but notice it's not centered. You can see the little dots right here and here. I'm going to move it down because my middle line going side to side, that is the halfway mark. So now my placeholder is centered, and it doesn't matter that the image is not centered. I'm just worrying about the placeholder, and I'm going to hit enter. Now I can click on the layer of the image and transform. And, oh, let's see, I need to make it just a little bit bigger. There we go. So now I can modify it. Let's make it just a little bigger, right where I want it, just like that. I want to keep my signature in there. Okay, so that's how you can customize a placeholder to fit the image in case it needs to be changed. All right. Now, if you are using this template, all you got to do is go to the type tool, double click on your type. It might just select one word. You can do Control Command A to do all of it, or you can highlight it and change it just one part at a time. We'll get into text another day, but I hope you can use this template. All right, one more thing to show you. If you watched my video last week, you saw the Valley of Fire photo safari I did in Las Vegas. That was so cool. But let me show you one of the things that you can do. All right, let's just go here. This is the promo I made. This was my banner on Facebook, and these were the pictures that I did from last year's. And then this is the updated one. Guess what? I used clipping mask. I had already designed it. Why recreate the wheel, right? So I took my original one and I clipped the pictures right on top of other pictures. Like, it doesn't have to be a gray placeholder. It can be anything. So I actually clipped this right on top of the old pictures, and I'm going to show you how I did it. This is one of my favorite images. And see, here's the 2 girls that threw the dress trains. Isn't that beautiful? I did remove them out of other images, but here they're far enough out, they're not even going to be in the final image. I'm going to go back there and let's do this. We're going to call it a template. All right, so this is not actually a template. It is the promo that I made this year prior to my class. So I am going to go to this new image. I'm going to drag it on top of my template, my layout, and I'm going to hold shift to drop it. I'm going to ignore this mismatch here. All right, wow, it's a big image, right? Remember, this is made for social media, so a banner's not that big for Facebook. So I'm going to do you remember the shortcut? Command Option G. All right. Oh, well, where did it go? Guess what? There it is. I clipped it right on top of my headshot. This happens all the time. A minute ago, I just showed you that. So all I need to do is figure out which layer it should have been on. Actually, here's the best way to avoid that. I'm going to go back to when I opened it. So here's the original. I know that I am going to put it in this spot. So I'm going to hit the Move tool. V is the shortcut. I'm going to click on this layer. Now, I do have up here on the option bar, Auto Select Layer. Not Auto Select Group, but Auto Select Layer, and it's checked on. So that means whatever layer I click on, it will select that layer. So let's see, my headshot, or the text, or this image. Okay, there we go. So now this image down about halfway is selected. That's really helpful because when I go to my new image that I want to put in, I can drag it over like before and drag it onto my template. I'm going to hold shift and drop it. And guess what? Check this out. It's right above the layer I want to clip it to. Perfect. So if you are thinking ahead and you can click on the placeholder where you want to put it before you drag your image in, it'll save you a lot of headache. All right. So I've got it on there. I'm going to do Command Option G and clip it, and wow, we got a nice shot of the dirt. Of course, the image is huge there, so I'm going to do Controller Command T to transform, but I can't even see my handles. This happens all the time when you're doing a big image into a small template. So once you do Controller Command T to transform, if you can't see the handles, do Command 0 or Control 0 if you're on a PC. Now I can see the edges of that image, and I can take one of the handles and drag it in and reposition and drag it in. By the way, here's a tip. If you hold Option or Alt on a PC and you do this, look how it sizes to the middle. It goes twice as fast. So that's kind of helpful. Then I can reposition. I'm centered, but I'm holding Option to size to the middle. Ooh, that looks really good right there. Okay, I'm gonna hit enter and accept it. Problem is, I'm gonna do Controller Command 0 so we can see it bigger. The problem is my original image is a little bit too tall and I don't have any more sky, but I don't want to make it any wider, cut off the dresses, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to modify the placeholder. Now, I know it's an image from last time. It's not just a gray placeholder, but it doesn't matter. I'm just using it as a template at this point. So I'm going to choose the layer below it. It's actually got a mask on it, but we're not going to go there. We're just going to transform it, Controller Command T, and if you want to stretch it or distort it on purpose, you're going to hold Shift and just pull that down right about there and hit enter. Now it looks good. Now I've got more room for my name. So using the Move tool, I'm going to click on Suzette Allen. Of course, it selected it, and I'm going to use my arrow key to move that down just a little bit. And then I'm going to click on Lumix Ambassador and arrow key to move down. You know what? If you hold Shift, it'll move twice as fast. There we go. And you know what? I think I should have capitalized that A last time. All right. There you go. Here is the new one. Now I'm going to go over here to my history panel and I'm going to hit the little camera to make a snapshot. And then let's scroll up. This is where we started. And this is what I just did, before and after. And that was so quick, right? I probably need to change the date because I can use this for a promo for next time. Next year, hopefully I'll be able to do it again. All right, so there you go. There is some really practical ways to use Clipping Mask. Let's also go through a few other things. All right, so here's some templates I've made in the past. This is a 10 by 10, and here is a 10 by 10 that goes with it. These are great for album pages or wall collections. And here's an image I put in it as a placeholder. Here's another girl. Of course, anytime I make a template, I change the background color. I make it so it can be changed to match the image. So here we go. Beautiful little ones of Annette. Here's another one. This is just a basic mat, a double mat. You can see how the corners really look like a mat. It's dimensional. I may teach you how to do that in another video, but I can also populate that with any image and change the color to match my mat. Pretty cool. And it looks so real. People touch it to see if it's a mat or if it's digital. It's pretty amazing. All right, here's another one of my favorites. I love this one. Oh, and it's so beautiful with this image. I just changed the color to match her image. Christmas cards, I do those all the time. That's before and after. And then here is a 10 by 20 collection composite. All right, we just saw this one. So here's one I just did at Christmas, like 2 months ago. And, right, this is my mom's wall. This is my family right here, probably over 10 years ago because that was when my dad was alive. And she's got this kind of old-fashioned thing going on. It's like, but she really wanted pictures of the great-grandkids. So that's what we did. We took down all the plates. We put her grandparents, her parents, me, of course, other family members, and then we have 2 composites of her great-grandkids. So what did I do? Of course, I made a template. I made that background cherry colored to match the couch and the frame, and I populated it with adorable Mr. Ryder, and there we have the most beautiful display. It was her favorite Christmas gift of all. Anyway, I was smart and I made it into a template. And guess what? Surely she's going to update this when her little grandkids, great grandkids, get older. So all I need to do is put new pictures in it. It will still match the frames, the couch, the whole beautiful vibe. So there you go. I hope that this gives you some really cool ideas on how to use clipping mask and how to save time and how to get really creative with Photoshop. Don't forget to download the free template in the link below. And here's your assignment for this week. Open up Photoshop, load in the free template, and then go pick any picture you want and put it in there. And if you have a printer, maybe you can print it out, trim it, fold it, send it to a friend. So I'll see you back next weekend. Have a creative week.